Hi everyone, and welcome to your weekly woo. This week we got 3 animal cards that popped out. So we have 3 totems to work with this week, which I think is really great because we are coming out of some really tense aspects that happened last Thursday and over this weekend, where Mars was opposed Saturn and they were both square Uranus. This is just the planets having really tough conversations, tension that forces action. So we got Bobcat again. And I think this is so awesome because right now I keep reiterating that, maybe in the past we could have been able to predict the future or plan ahead. But right now, the way that the cosmic weather is working, the way that the energy of society and these changes, global changes are happening, we just don't know. It's really like the path is only illuminated one step at a time. Life is a mystery is the key phrase to this card. And look at this image of this animal. It is at one with the mystery. It is the mystery. So I feel like we're getting another message, whenever a card repeats. And this idea of, can you make love to the unknown? Can you fall in love with it? Whereas we've been taught, and I feel like especially in American society, to fear the future. This totem is saying to us, if this is the circumstance of your life, that you're not going to be able to really plan ahead, that you're not supposed to know, what's going to happen next. How do you get good with that when you've been taught to fear that? And so we have to embody this energy that is within us. It's like the creature that hunts in the night, not afraid of the dark. Now, this is interesting, and I'll get to the other animals in a second, because this week I decided to pull a goddess card for us, and we got the goddess Bast, the Egyptian goddess Bast. She represents that feline part of ourselves. Now, why this is also so cool, and I love it when this corresponds to the cosmic weather, we have Mars and Venus in the sign of Leo, in the sign of that feline energy within each and every one of us. That fearless part of ourselves that isn't afraid to take risks and action, that really lives so spontaneously in the moment, right? I mean, when these animals hunt, they have to be so present. And in fact, if you're ever around cats, that's part of their awesome lesson to us. Forever in the present moment. Are they, in your house cats, are they ever thinking about what's coming next? No, but they're ready to pounce on something once it does enter their realm. So there is a message that, because we also have hidden gift, the rainbow this week, there is going to be opportunities that you're going to need to pounce on. And if you're fearing the future, if you're preoccupied with anxiety and fear, you're not going to see these gifts that are hidden. Life is a mystery and hidden gift. So if you're at one with that mystery, that great mystery, if you're at peace with the fact that that's the truth of existence, you're going to be able to see the signs and synchronicities that lead you to something awesome. I also want you guys to pay attention when you do see rainbows. Think about what was just said. What were you just thinking about? What is the circumstance that you're in? Because whatever's going on, there is a blessing in it. And all you have to do is look for it with these kind of eyes. So our other animals this week were deer spirit, bring a gentle touch, and lizard spirit, dream the world into being. Why I like these two going together is because when we have this invitation into the great mystery, there's an invitation to step back and really use your creative powers in a state of what we would call reverie or daydreaming, to get into a state of being where you are thinking about How do you want the future to go? What do you want it to look like? Who do you want to be with? Or even like, what do you want to look like in the future? And this deer saying, and be gentle, have a gentle space, right? Approach it with mystery. So I want to invite all of you this week to take some time, right? It says your independence is a foundation for your strength and success. To take some time alone to get into, I don't even want to say meditative because that's almost not gentle enough. To get out into nature, or to be in the bathtub, or to just be laying around your bed or your couch or a hammock. And perhaps it's when you're looking up at the stars, right? Perhaps when you see a rainbow this week, get into this state that I'm referring to right now. And just daydream about your deepest desires and wants and goals, and what does it look like when you've achieved them, when they're in sync and all happening. You know, if you want like a new relationship and you want a new partner, daydream about what it's like to be with that person, what it's like to be intimate with that person, what it's like to spend your day with that person. If you're wanting, more career success, well, what does that look like? What does that feel like? What do you look like when those goals are already achieved? This week, we have some really potent energy to allow that numinous, luminous, juicy, dreamy reverie state to actually start creating manifestation in the material world. Now we have a new moon on July 9th in the sign of Cancer. And this new moon is, Cancer is the sign of the home, right? Crabs carry their home on their back. And I feel like this new moon is a time to set some intentions, because now that we're out of eclipse season, you can use these new moons to set intentions and do your rituals. A time to set intentions around your internal feelings of fulfillment and security. So when you're in this mysterious, dreamy, gentle, manifesting state, I want you to think about like that feeling of absolute security, that all is well, that you have everything you need, all the resources to achieve what you want to, the support, the friends, the partners around you. Get into that state of feeling absolutely safe and secure and hold it for as long as you possibly can, especially on July 9th when this new moon is exact and in the few days after it, to really bring in that sense of security. Because when you embody that feeling and you're signaling that frequency out into the soup that is this universe, right? This consciousness that surrounds us all. When you're doing that, sending out that signal, the universe then has to send it back to you. And ultimately, that feeling of security, when you can get into that space, that means that the entire pie chart of your life is being fulfilled. For us to truly feel secure, that's what really needs to be happening. So if you can have the feeling first, signal that frequency out into the ether, it's going to turn around and mirror that frequency back to you. And I really think that that's the hidden gift here. That the hidden gift is actually that you have the power to create exactly what you want if you can allow this gentle state of mystery to be where you sit. It's like not trying to control the details, but trying to manifest the feeling and the frequency as if all those details have already been taken care of. Our crystal, also deep, mysterious stone, blue tiger's eye. I was once given one of these, And it is so incredible, this stone, to hold, to be around, to meditate with, because usually tiger's eye is gold and browns and tans. When it's blue, it's really speaking about your inner vision and dreams, right? It's more of the internal. Well, tiger's eye is like, the original tiger's eye is more of this this feline energy, right? Being pushed outwards into the world. Here we go. Right? These kind of colors. But the blue, when it's blue, it's signaling you don't have to push this feline energy outwards, although we're going to have the invitation to do that this week indeed. It's saying there's an internal process, which comes back to the deer and the lizard, this more gentle way of manifesting. Work smarter, not harder. Although I encourage all of it, smarter and harder. So I'm going to read this card because this deck is really beautiful because it has mantras on the back as well. So some questions to ask ourselves this week. Are you looking at something from only one angle? So if you're in some sort of conundrum, you need to make a decision, you're in some conflict, can you go into this mysterious space? Can you see it from the other person's perspective? Can you jump? Can you take that leap of consciousness to not just, think about walking in their shoes, but can you get in their mind? See where that human is coming from. Do you need to rise above a situation to see with greater clarity? This is where the dreaming comes into play. Sometimes when we're so focused on the details, we block our ability to manifest what we want. Can you let go of that and see a bigger picture? Again, can you manifest the frequency of what you want before you see it? That's that leap of faith. That's true spiritual power. And I think that's why we've been getting those cards that have been asking us to use our creative and sexual energy, pushing it up to the third eye to create the frequency of what we desire, right? That sacral chakra is what we desire. We can manifest it through focusing on the feeling and the frequency. Next question. It is time to, not questions, now it's statements. Here we go. It is time to take steps to gain a new perspective on life. And I think the new perspective, at least for me, is, as I learned from these cards, is to not push, but to magnetize, right? Like you think about the cat, it can do either, right? It can like go out and hunt, or it can just sort of attract what it needs. That's that feline magnetism. How can you work with yours this week? Trust your ability to see things clearly and read situations clearly. Again, like if you are in total acceptance and radical acceptance that life is a mystery and you're never totally going to figure it out, and that's why it's so sexy, then you are going to have a more open field. You're going to be more open because if it's a mystery, you're going to have to look for signs and clues. If this is a beautiful, mysterious game, you're going to have to be aligning with synchronicities. And that then is going to open your perception to see things more clearly than, say, someone who's focused on the details and can't see past their own nose. Inner visions and dreams are helpful tools for self-knowledge. And this leads me to, we think we know what we want until something better comes into view. And that's why I think Deer is here to show us, be gentle with the desires, because what we know is everything changes. And especially this year with a constant Saturn and Uranus and a difficult conversation, pushing us to change, pushing us to innovate, pushing us to change the structures, pushing us to change what we consider adulting, maturity, and discipline, forcing us to change how we interact with the collective consciousness, with groups, with humanity. We have to be gentle with what we think we want, because not only are we going to want to create change, but change is going to come upon us whether we like it or not. And so we have to loosen our grip and like hold life gently, because it's going to be in constant flux and change. And we don't want to be holding and needing something so very much that when the path shifts, we're suddenly debilitated because we didn't get what we think we needed. I always say it's always better to let go, like, you know, this idea of I need someone to do something so I can feel a certain way. I need this to happen so I can feel a certain way. What if you can just get yourself to a place of feeling that certain way so that you're not putting pressure on other people or putting a cap on what the universe can deliver to you? So you guys, you know, I feel like when we do see deer this week, because you're going to, a lot of you, that is also a signal to like whatever you were talking about or thinking about when you see that deer or who you're with, that it is a call to be more gentle with them, the situation, and yourself. And when you're more gentle, you're going to create energetic space for new energy to come in, right? Good energy. So the last thing I just want to talk about, we do have Mars and Venus are going to be opposing Saturn this week. So this is important because this card, the hidden gift, that sometimes when we are, you know, the idea of rejection is protection. And if you can wrap your head around that, then whenever you hear no, it's actually a signal, oh, okay, I was barking up the wrong tree. There's a better tree that has maybe more fruit that's better for me. That you may be redirected this week. And so be gentle with how you think things must go. You know, deer also signals to me like, I don't know, it's an animal when you see it. It has like no ego. It sounds weird to talk about animals in that way, but I think that's really a message that this animal teaches us, where it's just this grace. Especially, you know, I saw 2 bucks this past week and a group of does with them and some babies, some fawns. There is this majesty, and yet these animals are actually all hunted and truly vulnerable. There's this grace in their vulnerability, this beauty, and you know how they have to like meander through forests and then roads that humans have created. It's what we're being asked to do. That even when we get some no's this week, or you know, there's also real potential this week where you're going to deepen some commitments, and that could bring up, you know, fears of losing independence. But actually, like when we are choosing commitment rather than needing commitment, in many ways, that's the highest form of independence. That you are, right? We go back to this. It's not a need, it's a want, it's a desire. And the more connected you are, like Lizard, with your dreams and desires, that sacral center, that second chakra, the more connected you are with it, the more able you are to visualize it, to feel it as if it's already within you, it's already existing. Because the truth is, if you have that vision, if you have that dream, it is already within you. It's up to you to create the frequency so that the ether around you, this living soup, can actually create it for you. You're the director. You're the creator. So also look for lizards and your dreams this week. We still have, and we're going right out of the shadow of the Mercury retrograde we had just been in. And so Mercury is making another square to Mars. It's the 3rd one. So if you've been working on a dream, on a passion, on a desire, right about now, this week is when it really starts solidifying and you start going, yeah, okay, that's how I want it to be. You know, you kind of slap the dream around, and like if it's clay, you're molding it, you're being like, yeah, okay, that's what I want. And I just want to give you guys the permission slip. If you want it, you can have it. You have permission. So go after it, because we can manifest in this next 6 months so fast. So of course, watch what you're thinking. I want to share a personal, this is going long, but sometimes I wake up and I feel this, because we bond over fear and chaos, especially in American society. And I have this thought pattern where when I wake up, my mind, my monkey mind, goes through the things I fear the most happening. It's like this rapid succession. And I really caught it today because I've been doing a lot of reading about this phenomenon, about how it's easier to think about your fears and your worries than what you truly want, which is wild. But then all we have to do is retrain the brain to be like, no. We're not going to go to like worst case scenarios and what we're fearing. We're going to go to what do we want? Because we can create it. Because if you want it, you will have the resources to do it. You will have the support to do it. So I hope this was helpful, you guys. And if you have any questions about these readings, you can email me at info@thegoodwoo.org. I'm not taking new clients right now, but I may later on in the summer. I'm trying to create time for that. It's just a bit tricky. If you want more of this particular weekly woo, you can head to patreon.com/thegoodwoo, where I pull some more cards and talk about the subject more in depth. Thank you so much for viewing.